Hello everyone, I hope you're all well and welcome to another battle report, and we are back with the Gallic Wars, but importantly the first game in our Gallic Wars series. So you've seen all the project updates that I've been putting up as I've been working my way through the Caesar's Gallic Wars starter set. This is the culmination of that first part of the project. So what I thought would be a good idea is to basically fight a game with the contents of that starter box plus the few additional bits that I have added. Now, if you're a long-term watcher of the channel, you'll probably know that I play more Hail Caesar certainly on the channel than I do any other game, and it's a system that I really enjoy. However, if you've watched those battle reports, you'll know the format, and that is I normally skip through, fast forward through the command phase with an overhead shot. And that's because, given the size of the games that we play, it can be fairly monotonous viewing, I feel. However, as this is quite a small game, and as I was kindly given this set by Warlord Games, I thought, why not actually show that off for the first couple of turns anyway, so people can get an idea of how to frame the orders and how the command checks are actually made. So that's what we're going to be doing. Now, these are obviously quite small armies, as you can see. The Gauls are out here. I will run through these again in a minute. So we have set up a small scenario in here that's called Ambush on the Road that involves Caesar himself over there. So, just to reiterate, this is everything that you get in that Gallic Wars starter set that I've been building up over the project updates, as well as a few additional bits and bobs to just bulk things out a little bit. And I'll run through those as we're doing the army setup. However, the most important thing, of course, is I need an opponent.
Hi!
She's back! She's back!
For one night only.
As the Romans.
Absolutely.
You did want to play as the Romans. So, Hayley has joined me for her first game of Hail Caesar. So, if you've watched the channel, it's been a little while since we've played a game.
Anything.
Well,
we were going to play at Christmas, but we
were all ill.
with COVID, so...
Yes, but never... Exactly. So, it's Easter. It's another...
Spiritual.
Holiday. It's another holiday. So yeah, we're gonna celebrate that by playing a game of Hail Caesar. So Hayley has played Black Powder extensively. So there are similarities between Hail Caesar and Black Powder. So I thought that would be a good way to introduce people to the game. So what we're going to do is roll through the first couple of turns and actually go through the command phase, actually roll in to sort of frame the orders, and then we'll go back to doing the old overhead shots through the turns. So let's just have a look at what the scenario is and what the hell we're doing. Okay, so we are playing Hail Caesar version 2. Here's the very nice little A5 rulebook that came with the starter set, and we are using the statistics for the Romans and the Gauls set out in the Gallic Wars supplement here. However, we are going to add a couple of things to make this more interesting, because apparently I can't leave anything alone. Our scenario here is set 52 BC. Caesar is marching through Gaul on his way to confront Vercingetorix. As he's coming down the road, he notices Gallic scouts out basically marking his position and knows that something is coming. As he rounds a corner in the road, he sees the Gauls have felled trees to cut off the Roman advance, and he swiftly gets his legion into fighting formation. It's a rather understrength legion.
It has me behind it, so...
It does have you behind it. The rest of the Roman column is a few miles away, so Caesar needs to either get past the Gauls that block his way, or last long enough that Roman reinforcements can arrive. Now, the Gauls, under the command of...
Somebody.
Need a name. Fabricius. are determined to capture or kill Caesar and then take his head or him personally to Vercingetorix. But Fabricius has also brought along his chum, who is a druid over here. I'm not going to try and come...
Airwick.
It could be Airwicks. So we've got Airwicks and Fabricius. There we go. So Airwicks, he is naked. Who are going to be taking on the Romans. So what have I got? So on my side, I have Airwicks here has 2 units of Gauls. They're medium infantry Gallic warbands. Their special rules are that they are tough fighters. That's it. That's all they have, the Gauls. Over here, Fabricius, he's got 2 units of Gallic fighters as well. tough fighters, and he also has a small unit of skirmishers. Both of my commanders are command rating 8, and the druids have a little special rule that might come into things a little bit later on. Who's that then, Hayley?
That's Caesar.
That's Caesar. Caesar has a command rating of 10 because he knows what he's about. So there he is. It is obviously 2 divisions against 1 here. So with Caesar, we have 2 standard units of Roman heavy infantry, of legionaries, and then they're the ones with the red shields. And these guys down here with the white shields, they are, we've decided, a veteran unit. So all of the Romans are armed with pilum. They have the elite special rule and drilled as well, I believe. But these guys here down the front, just to give them that veteran status, they also have the tough fighters rule, which is what we've added. And you'll be able to tell who they are because these 2 in the front here are Lucius Varenus and Titus Pullo. So we're going to say that this is the 13th Legion. Up here, Caesar has placed his Scorpio, who with that guy that's on the lookout, and he can see a lot of very hairy Gauls making their way towards him. Now, the conditions on the scenario, if Caesar is killed or captured at any point, the Gauls win. If Caesar gets off this side of the board, the Gauls win. Sorry, no, Caesar wins. Not the
Gauls. Do they just win?
We just win. If we don't, after 6 turns, we'll just total up victory points, and we're just going to use a simple victory point system of 1 victory point for every enemy unit that is shaken, 2 victory points for every enemy unit that has left the board and can't return, either because it's broken or because it's moved off and for some reason hasn't come back. And then you will also receive 2 victory points, or the Romans will, if either of the Gallic commanders are killed. We have an area of woodland over here. These bushes and everything, they do not count as impassable terrain. They're just there to make the sort of space look nice so they can move through those without penalty. They don't block line of sight or anything like that. The trees that have been cut down to block the road count as an obstacle, so if a unit wants to move over those, it takes a single order. We are going to introduce a little special rule here, which is if a unit starts its turn next to that, it can use one of its orders to try and move them out the way, so long as it isn't in combat. So there we go. This is going to be our first game of Hail Caesar. It's definitely Hayley's first game of Hail Caesar. You looking forward to it?
Yeah, I am, but I know absolutely nothing, so...
That's all right. Neither do I, really.
Learning with me.
Learning with Hayley. So, here we go then. It's 52 BC and it's the Gallic Wars, turn 1. Okay, so we're going to roll to see who goes first. The Gauls get a healthy 4. 5. Okay, so does Caesar want to go first or second? Is he going to wait to see what his Gallic enemies do?
Yeah, I think I'll go second.
You're going to go second. Okay, right then. So, turn 1 is for the Gauls. Okay, so to kick things off here, Airwix is going to...
I'm not going to be able to keep straight.
Airwix over here is going to try and sweep round. If you actually come down here, the Romans, apart from that Scorpio, can't see the forces that are coming around the hill or coming around the mountain as to sort of envelop them. So what I'm going to do, when you give an order in Hail Caesar, well, first of all, you have to give, if anyone's going to make any initiative orders, so if there's an enemy within 12 inches, you can execute an initiative order. We haven't got any enemies within 12 inches. Then if there's any compulsory moves, we haven't got any, so we're just going to straight orders. So in order to execute an order, what you have to do is frame it. Now, every unit can receive up to 3 orders. So that could be something like move, 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 or move, change formation, move, or move, go over an obstacle and then change formation. Now, the way you actually resolve this is that every commander, as we've already said, has a command rating. Now, Airwix down here, his command rating is 8. So in order to see if he passes, you roll 2d6, and the amount that he rolled, the difference between what he rolls below his command rating and what's on the dice is how many orders he executes. So, for example, if these guys were going to execute 3 orders, to actually get them all off, I would have to roll 5 or less. Now, if you don't succeed, and you don't roll, say, if you're doing 3 orders, 5 or less, they don't fail everything. All that happens is they only execute the number of orders that you succeeded. So if I rolled a 7, they would only execute 1. Now, if you roll higher than their command rating, so if I roll 9 or more, then the order is just failed and no more orders can be given to any other units in that division. So if I order that unit forward and they fail, I can't then order that unit. Finally, if I roll a double 6 on the order, that is a blunder and something's gone really wrong and this unit might go charging across the board, or it might just retreat off entirely. So what I'm going to do, just to show you guys sort of like how to do it, normally I would give a group order, which you can do if you've got 2 units together, so you could give them both the same order. I'm actually going to, first of all, just going to order this unit. They're going to go probing around the outside. Now, the way you frame your orders, you can just simply say, I want them to take 3 moves, infantry move at 6 inches, but you could also say, which is a little bit more fun, I want them to move forward to the top of the hill and no further. Now, if you say, for example, I'm going to order them to move to here. If I then suddenly get off more orders, which would have allowed them to go further, they will stop there. So you really have to kind of give a limit. So I want this unit here to move forward to here. Okay, so I've got a command rating of 8, so I'm looking for 8 or less, and I want to go as far as I can. So that's a 6, so they execute 2 moves. Okay, so they move 6 inches each order, so they're going, there we go, 12 inches forward. So they're going to come round. The Scorpio is definitely questioning why Caesar has put him up there. Now, for this unit, what I would like them to do, I want them to actually just come and take position here. So I think, again, I'm going to need 2 orders. Okay, so I've got a command rating of 8. And I got a 9. So that is a failure. So that unit cannot receive any more orders, and that commander's turn ends. Now, what I could do, the commander could give a reroll. So each turn, the commander can dish out 1 command reroll. He can either use it on himself or one of his subordinates, as long as they are within 12 inches. And as you can see, I'm just within 12 inches. However, I don't know. Do you know what? I think I will try it. So spending the commander's reroll, I need 8 or less again. So that is a 5, so that's actually 3 under, which means they can do 3 moves. However, they won't go any further than where I indicated here. So they are going to make it quite successfully to there. Finally, once all of that's done, the commander can move as well. And this guy has a movement of 12, so he's just going to follow up behind there. So there we go. There we have those guys moving around the flank. So what I'll do, like I say, I'll just go through these ones in the same way. Fabrizics is going to order the skirmishers. I want them to come actually and sort of take cover behind the fallen trees. So let's see. I think that's actually going to be, it might even be 3 orders. So let's see how far they go. Here's a command rating of 8. 9. Okay, so they are not going anywhere, and he already used his reroll, so no one in that division is moving. So there we go, that's it. Now, the only missile weapons I have are that skirmish unit there. So I have no other shots to make this turn. That is the end of the Gallic turn. So over here, Airwix has pushed his his units up. But over here, no movement. And it's that simple. What we'll do in the next phase, we'll do it with Hayley, so when she's rolling through with her Romans, and maybe do it in turn 2 as well. And then after that, we'll return to the tried and tested method of the overhead shot. So you guys have just got an idea of how to frame those orders and how they work. Okay, so it's Roman turn 1. Hayley, what are you thinking?
Okay, I'm going to keep a couple of units together. I'm going to send one up the hill.
Okay, which one are you going to send up the hill?
These guys at the back.
Those guys there. Okay,
so do that first,
so where do you want them to move to?
So if I move, I assume that if I move them in front of this guy, it's going to block.
That will block his line of sight.
So
yeah.
I'm going to maybe to the top of the hill.
So you're going to want them to sort of just crest up the top of the hill.
Yeah.
Okay, all right then. So Caesar has a command rating of 10. So you're rolling 2d6, and let's see what you get. Okay, so Hayley's looking for an 8 at least, I think.
8 or less. 7.
That's a 7. So they actually execute 3 orders, but they won't go any further than you indicated.
Okay.
Yep, you can, because over half the unit isn't travelling through that friendly unit, they won't need to test for disorder. So there we go. They've spied the Gauls that are coming over the, round the outside.
Over the hill.
Right, what do you want now? So that front unit, remember, they're a veteran unit, so we're giving them the tough fighters because it's the good old Titus Pullo regiment. Now, what do you want to do with them?
We're going to push forward up the road.
Okay, where do you want them to go to?
Up to the tree line.
Up to a tree line?
Yeah.
Okay, all right then. Yeah, I mean, it should be, I think, pretty much 2 moves, so... Okay, so that's a 10, but so it's your choice. So Caesar's command rating is 10. So they can go one order, or you could use his reroll and try it again.
I'm happy with one.
Okay, so they're just going to go 6 inches.
Okay. So they're over there. About right? You happy with that?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. What
Try not
about...
to break any of these spears, because my track record with pointing
Yes.
in games is not good. And trees.
It's usually for trees. These trees that have fallen here, they were
They were actually fine, and we weren't going to do that, but I came along.
What about the guys at the back?
Yeah, I think they're all nuzzling behind them. So.
Okay, so you just want one order, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so one order is just going to be, well, just get 10 or less, basically.
Ooh.
Yep, absolutely fine. So they can just move up 6 inches behind those guys.
Just like that.
Finally, Caesar, you can move him 12. Where do you want to put him?
Agreed that, that's right.
He's going to go there. So there we are. So Caesar has split his forces. He's sent a distraction up there. So the next phase is the shooting phase in the game. Now Hayley has the Scorpio up there. Now the Scorpio has to shoot at the closest target, which will be these guys down here. And I assume that's what you want to do.
Well, it'd be rude not to, wouldn't
Excellent. Right, let's see what the bolt thrower can do. Okay, so for shooting, especially with something like the bolt thrower, there's a few things that we've got to go through. Now, that little Scorpio uses 2 dice at long range and 2 dice at short range. Now, if Hayley measures this out, I think we'll see that they're just over 12. Yep, so but he's still using 2 dice, but what that does mean is that the roll is going to be at -1. Now there is no sort of cover or anything like that to worry about, so normally you need to roll 4, 5 or 6. This time Hayley is hitting on 5 or 6. Okay, so Hayley's got 2d6 looking for 5s.
No.
No, okay, so both miss. There we go. Okay, so we won't worry about what didn't happen. Let's focus on what we will. Okay, so let's just go into turn 2. So Airwix down here is going to order his Gallic warband here to charge up the hill into those waiting Romans. Now I just measured it out. It's going to be they're 12. Just about, well, I think they're just under 12. Actually, Hayley, would you mind measuring? So it's from the centre of my unit.
What, from there?
No, the centre of the front, sorry. Centre of the front. So it's 12.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be 2 moves. So Airwix is going to order them to charge the hated Romans at the top of the hill. Okay, so he's got a command rating of 8. And I got a 5, so the charge crashes home.
Charge is on.
Okay, so Hayley has some options here. Now, really, the only option I'd suggest that you take is hold. Because if you flee, things aren't going to go... I don't know. I'm used to playing Robin.
We never
So these guys go up the hill. Now, these guys are in a warband, so as long as they contact there, they basically count as the whole unit being involved. So you can't have another unit on the front. So keep things nice and simple. So that warband goes crashing in. But don't worry, the Roman pilums are going to cause me a few issues. So we're definitely going to be fighting a combat this turn. Now what I would like to do is move this unit up in support so that they will tack onto the side there and add their attack. So we know that that's going to be 2 moves as well. So I'm going to try and flood over that unit and see if I can just basically own the hill.
That's dirty.
Okay, so 8 or less. That is an 8, so they only get 1 order off. It's on 8, sorry. That's a 7. The 7.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that when I had them done. So they're just going to go 6 inches. Okay, so they aren't unfortunately going to be able to support this turn. Well, basically they're just going to be level with the back of that unit. So they come forward like that. Caesar down there can see all these Gauls coming. Now, I can actually do this in a combat phase, which would be to add him into that combat. But I don't think I'm going to. He's just going to take a normal move. He's very pleased with himself. He is going to basically move over here and carry on shouting encouragement. You can't shoot him with the Scorpio before you ask.
Why?
You can't target commanders. You can move over them and force them off the board and stuff like that.
Back by their face.
Basically. Remember, he's naked, so...
Yeah.
Right then. So, down here, Fabrizix is going to try and do his thing. Right, I'm going to basically push these skirmishers up as far as I can go. I'm going to push all of them up as far as I can go, I think. So he is going to order essentially a divisional command, and that is, I want all of these guys to move up as far as they can, but no further than the fallen trees. And I want the skirmishers to basically take root behind the trees. So Fabrizix has a command rating of 8. That's a 10, so that's a big old failure. But I haven't used his command reroll yet, so 4. That means they all of those orders are executed. So these guys are going to move up to here, and then the 2 warbands behind. Now remember, they move 6 inches at a time each, and I bet they aren't going to go any further than those skirmishers. So this is one of the things I really enjoy about Hail Caesar, is the sort of the framing of the orders and how sort of open it is. And it just makes for quite fast gameplay, as you can see. So part of what we want to show in this battle report, or what I want to show really, is just how, even with just, you know, the contents of this starter set, you can have a decent size clash. I mean, look at that, we're already getting stuck in. So first things first, shooting. I'm going to check to see if my skirmishers there can hurl some javelins at Titus Pullo. Okay, so my javelin men down here are going to hurl a few javelins at the unit with Titus Pullo in it. So, let's see how this is going to go. So they have 2 dice at short range. They get no other bonuses at all. However, they are targeting heavy infantry with shields to their front. So I'm at -1. So I'm hitting on 5s. So 2d6 hitting on 5s. Oh, there is a 6, which means that Hayley is going to have to take a break test. Okay, so first of all, Hayley, you need a save of 4 or more just to prevent one of your legionaries being killed. Yep. And now what we have to do is we would mark that unit needs to take a break test at the end of the phase. However, I have no other shooting attacks to make, so we might as well take that now. So in games like Black Powder, you automatically disorder on a roll of a 6. In Hail Caesar, it works slightly differently. A roll of 6 in shooting basically means that you have to take a break test, and it can result in your unit having to retreat a little bit. If you're on a double 1, they leg it off the board, so it can be a sort of an early win. So what you need to do, Hayley, is you need to roll 2d6 and just add them together and get as high as possible.
That's
3. That's not as high as possible. It makes me happy. So if we take a look at the ranged attack break test chart here, a roll of 3 for infantry says break if shaken, which they're not. Otherwise, retreat disordered.
Retreat to where?
So they will go straight backwards 6 inches, and there's a chance that they will disorder that other unit as they go through them. So they're just going to go 6 inches directly back to where Caesar is. So you can just scoot Caesar over.
Poor Caesar.
Caesar's not going to be happy. I think it's going to be decimation.
Scooted.
I don't remember Titus Pullo going backwards in the series, but there we go. So they go. So they're now disordered. So what we normally do to show disorder, we just sort of wobble the unit. Now this unit, they become, because they're going through them, they become disordered on a 4, 5, or 6 because they ran backwards through them. Excellent. So they're now disordered as well. So the whole lot. It's going well. But the good news is, Hayley, that you are elite, or they're all elite. So you have a chance at the start of the next turn for all of them to regain their composure because they're Romans and Caesar's going to shout at them a lot.
I'm going to change my dice.
Oh, all right. You're channeling your inner Dom. Okay. Okay, so now we need to work out this combat on the hill. So this warband went charging up there. They're going to attack the Romans with their clash value, which is 9. So I'm rolling 9 dice. These guys have the tough fighters special rule, so I get to re-roll one of those if they miss. Also, because I'm charging, I get +1 to my attack. Now, Hayley is fighting back with 7 dice. That's her clash value. So the Romans have the same clash and same sustained values for fighting. because they're well trained and they're reliable. I have a high clash value and a lower sustained value. So Hayley is going to order. Hayley's technically on higher ground than me because you took the top of the hill. So you're going to get +1 to your hit as well. So I have 9 dice hitting on freeze. You have 7 dice hitting on freeze. Now, as you may have noticed, the Romans are armed with their signature pilum. And what that does for the first round of combat, it reduces my morale save, so essentially my armor, by 1. So where I would normally be saving on 5s in the first round of combat, I'm saving on 6s as the Romans hurl those spears at the Celts as they come charging up the hill. Okay, so I'll go first. I need 9 dice. I'm hitting on freeze and I can re-roll 1. That is awful.
That is brilliant.
It's so bad. That is so bad.
That is brilliant.
2.
Brilliant. 2
hits. Okay, Hayley, you got 7 dice hitting on freeze. All but 1. Yeah. So 6.
There we go. The bitch is back.
Okay, so because of the pilum, I've got 6 saves of 6 to make. None. So I've taken 6 casualties, which is equal to my stamina. Hayley, you have 2 saves of 4 to make.
No.
You've taken 2. Okay, so it's not looking good. I've taken 6 casualties, which is equal to my stamina value, so this unit is now shaken. Hayley's taken a measly 2 casualties. So I need to take a break test, and as the difference is 4, I'm rolling 2d6 minus 4 on the hand-to-hand combat break test. All right. Yeah, I think I'm going to be breaking. Right, okay, so 2d6 minus 4. Okay,
1.
so the result is 5. Okay, so 5 on the hand-to-hand combat table is give ground disordered together with supports. They didn't have anyone supporting, but they are going back down that hill. Now, because they're shaken, they can't do an awful lot until they get rid of some of those casualties. So Hayley is just already beaten back some of the frothing Celts as they came running up the hill. Airwix is not going to be happy.
Good.
Okay, so this is where we are at the end of the Gallic turn 2. So over here, that unit has basically been pushed back down the hill, and they're sitting at the bottom there, disordered and shaken. Oh, they are disordered, so I need to break those up a little bit. I do have that fresh unit there to try and charge in. Over here, things went a little bit better, and I've disordered those Roman ranks. But Hayley is going to have a chance now to reorder those and basically bring the fight forward. So, should we see what you're going to do?
Yep.
Okay, so it's Roman turn 2 now. There's a couple of things we've got to do before Hayley can start issuing orders, assuming Hayley wants to do those. Now, all of these Roman units are elite, or rather, they have the elite special rule, and it's an elite 4+. What that means is at the start of the turn, if you roll 4 or more, they undisorder.
Let's give it a go.
Okay, so which ones do you want to do first? The elite unit at the back, the guys at the front or the guys at the back?
We'll do the front first.
Okay, so you are looking for a 4 or more?
Yep.
Okay, so they reorder and they can receive orders this turn. That's annoying. And I assume you want to do the same for the guys at the back.
Same.
Yep.
Fabulous.
Ugh. Okay, so basically all I did was mess up your lines a little bit. So it's now into the orders phase, and what we'll do after this orders phase, we'll go back to what you guys are probably more used to and use the overhead. Hayley, what do you want to issue orders to? What's Caesar going to do?
We're going to push forward.
Okay, right. So what are you going to do? Try and charge them?
Yep.
Okay, so 2 moves.
2 moves.
It's a 6, so yeah, you got 3 moves. So just move those into contact. Now, as I have javelins, I'm going to stand and shoot at you. Actually, no, what am I doing? Oh no, I can't evade. Can I evade? Okay, so I've decided not to evade because I think it will mess up my lines. I am going to just basically stand and hurl some javelins. We've just pulled those across there, so to remind ourselves that we are actually fighting over a barrier. So I'm going to hurl a couple of javelins at you as you come in. I am going to be hitting on 6s, -1 because you've got shields and your heavy infantry, and -1 because it's closing fire. Oh, 1 hit, and you will need to take a break test. So first of all, you need to save a 4. No, so you're taking a casualty, and now you need to take a break test, so it's 2d6 straight.
What do I need?
As high as possible.
6.
6, hold your ground, disordered or retreat in good order. So basically you can carry on fighting the combat, but you'll just be disordered in the combat. Okay, so I'll get you a casualty and just disorder yourself. So basically as you charge, they threw some javelins at you,
So
yeah. Okay, so what do you want the unit behind them to do? Now they could move up in support.
They're coming up behind.
Okay, so I think it's going to be a couple of orders.
Perfect.
Yeah. I am just going to check to see if you can support disordered units. Okay, so Hayley can give supports there. Finally, up on the hill, what are you going to do there?
I'm going to leave these guys where they were.
Yep.
And then we're going to go firing.
The Scorpio, yep, because that's everything done now, isn't it?
Yep.
So, right, well, you have to shoot at the closest unit, which is these guys down here. You're going to have 2 dice, and you're going to be hitting on 4s. I can't even remember why you were hitting on... Oh, yes, because they were over 12 inches, but they're not this time. So you have 2 dice hitting on 4s.
Perfect.
Oh, dear.
Perfect.
I need 2 saves of 5. Was one of those a 6? No, it wasn't, was it? I need 2 saves of 5. Oh, 1 save and 1 casualty. However, because that casualty has gone 1 over my stamina, I will need to take a break test at the end of the shooting phase, which is now. So I've got to take a break test on the shooting phase, so it's going to be 2d6 minus 1 for the excess casualty. So 2d6 minus 1, let's say 5 again. This isn't going to be good. So 5 is going to be hold your ground disordered or retreat in good order. Well, I'm already disordered, so I'm just going to stay where I am. And that excess casualty now goes. Right, we are into the hand-to-hand combat phase. So Hayley charged with her Romans, so she's going to get 7 dice to hit. They are disordered though, so the +1 charge bonus that she would normally get has gone. So Hayley has got 7 dice hitting on 4s. My paltry little skirmish unit just there. Okay, they get 5 dice on the clash. I wasn't expecting that. I thought they were going to be terrible. So they get 5. Now, because I'm defending the obstacle, because I made it there first, all that's going to do is when I have to take my morale test, I will receive a +1 modifier. But remember, Hayley's got Pelums that she's been throwing in, so I get -1. So essentially it cancels it. So after all that, Hayley has 7 dice hitting on 4s. I have 5 dice hitting on 4s as well. Hayley, you can go first because you're attacking. Hitting on 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, okay. Okay. I feel like that should be some kind of like really lucky thing. I'm hitting on 4s. I got 4. They did better than the other unit. So Hayley, you need 4 saves of 4.
2.
So 2. So you've taken 2 casualties. So their morale is normally 6 or more. However, because I was behind the obstacle, that puts it down to 5. But Hayley's Pelums take it back up to 6. So I need 5 saves of 6. That's 1 save. So Hayley has won the combat by 2. So I'm going to be taking a break test. 2d6 minus 2. Okay, here we go. 2d6 minus 2. That's a 8. I can't do maths. And that is on infantry. Oh, sorry, no, skirmishers. Sorry, they are skirmishers. Break if shaken, otherwise give ground disordered. So they are going to be, well, normally they would just go 6 inches, but they're going to have to go 12 because they won't clear that unit, and then they'll be disordered at the end of it. These guys are going to have to test if they're disordered as well. Okay, so something I forgot to do was Hayley's support attacks. So Hayley, you get 3 dice just hitting on 4s.
1.
Okay, and then so I needed an additional save of 6. Nope, so I took an additional casualty. That would have popped me down to 7, which was a result of break. So my unit is actually broken. So they're gone. The good news is they didn't actually, go through that unit and disorder them. So Hayley's completely wiped out my skirmishers. Now, what you can do, Hayley, is you can consolidate. So because you're fighting over an obstacle, your guys could just hop over that if you want. So they're on the other side.
Even though they're disordered.
Oh, no, you are disordered. So, yes, you're right. You can't do that. So,
Fast learner.
You are. And far too honest. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I've already lost a unit. I've got a unit shaken over there. And the Romans taken a little bit of damage. That is the end of Roman turn 2. How do you think it's going?
pretty happy.
You're pretty happy.
Things are going back your way. So.
I kind of feel like you're sacrificing them up there, but they're not actually being sacrificed.
They're right.
They're doing their thing. Right, what we're going to do, we'll go into Gaul turn 3, but we're going to go back to the overhead. Okay, so things happened. Basically, I didn't really need to make any order rolls because everything moved on initiative. So you can move on initiative if you're within 12 inches of the enemy at the start of the turn. And because I was over here, I just moved into contact with them because there was a nice little 6-inch gap. So this Celtic warband here have moved up and they are having to go back at those Romans that just slaughtered their comrades. Over here, this unit is moved into support. So they'll be giving support dice to these guys. So I should be having about 12 attacks there. And over here, Fabrizics has moved up, but he has not joined the combat. Remember, if a commander joins combat, they get to add 2 dice to that combat, but they may die. What I'm hoping over here is that we are successfully blocking the Romans from advancing and stopping Caesar from getting off the board, or because I have a sneaking suspicion that might be what Hayley's going to try and do. Over here, Airwicks's men, this warband on initiative charged those Romans there. The Romans have all decided to stand, basically, because you're not going anywhere.
They're Romans.
They're Romans. They're Romans. They're Romans. They're going to stand and down here. For which one's this? This is Airwicks, isn't it? Airwicks joined this unit and did a rally action as his final action. So he passed a command check and he got to remove 1 casualty. So these guys are no longer shaken. They can't do anything else this turn, but they are back in the fight. So I have no shooting because you got rid of my javelin unit, so we'll go straight to combat, and I think we'll actually start up here. That's all right. So again, I've got 9 attacks hitting on freeze. However, you have 7 attacks hitting on freeze because you're uphill of me. Okay, so 9 attacks hitting on freeze. I also have the tough fighters rule, so I can re-roll 1. How is that possible? How is that possible?
How many pairs of snake eyes are in there? 3.
2 minutes, and I get to re-roll 1. Oh look, so Bisbal, wow. I got 4. Do you know what? Wow. I'm known for some poor dice rolling, but that's it. So I got 4 hits. You've got 7 dice hitting on freeze.
Roll in a different tray.
I think this tray likes you.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, that's fine. So you got 4 hits as well. Okay, so I have 4 saves of 6 because you have Depelum, which is -1 to my save. So 4 saves of 6. 3 casualties for me. You have 4 saves of 4. 2. Okay, so I lost to combat by 1. Okay, so Hayley's unit on 3 casualties now, so still nowhere near shaken. Mine on 2, I lost to combat by 1, so I'm rolling 2d6 -1. So this is my break test to see if they're going to run away. -1 is a 6, so if we look on the chart here, 6 for infantry, give ground in good order. So they're going back down the hill.
Back you go.
Just can't get them off the hill. Just can't get off the hill. Right, now they're going to go directly away. 6 inches is going to leave them in this unit, so they will go back behind that unit as well. But we have to test to see if these units become disordered. How's that wine?
No.
Yeah? A nice Italian wine to go with your Romans.
Yep.
Right, so the front unit was disordered by these guys basically flooding back down the hill. So now we've got this nice orderly queue to go up the hill and face that unbeatable unit. So I'm not too sure what I'm going to do there. I think you got even less.
You needed 300.
Yeah, 300 was for chumps. That's chumps. So next up, it's the big combat here. So again, I have 9 attacks hitting on freeze. However, I'm hitting you over the obstacle this time. So you're going to get add 1 for cover. So I've got 9 dice hitting on freeze, re-rolling 1 for tough fighter. I then have 3 dice in support, I believe. Let me just double check. No, I have 2 dice in support rather than 3. So, sorry, 9 dice hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1. 2 dice hitting on 4s, re-rolling 1. Hayley has 7 dice hitting on 4s. No, they're disordered, aren't they?
I'm still supported.
And they're still supported. So those guys are disordered. So they're hitting on 5s, actually. So you've got 7 dice hitting on 5s. Then you have 3 dice from behind hitting on 4s. Right, so we'll get all the ghouls out the way first for this lovely big combat. So first of all, the main unit, 9 dice, hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1. I didn't need to re-roll. Oh, there's one.
All of them.
That's it. So that's 9 hits. Then I've got 2 dice hitting on 4s, re-rolling 1. So 10 hits altogether. Hayley, you've got 7 dice hitting on 5s to begin with. 3. Yep. Okay. And then you have 3 dice hitting on 4s. Re-rolling 1 for Tough Fighter, because that's the veteran unit. Okay, so re-roll the 2. There we go. So you got 6 hits overall. Okay, but this is where I probably become a bit unstuck. I need 6 saves of 6 because of the Pelham. However, yes, because you get +1 from the cover. There we are. So 6 saves to 6. 2 saves. I've taken 4 casualties. Okay, Hayley has 10 saves to make, but because she's fighting from behind that barrier, she's got the cover benefit. So you're saving on 3s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 casualties. Okay, so 6 casualties plus the 3 that are already there puts
9.
you on 9. So you are well and truly shaken. Okay, so before we work out the break test modifier, we've got to distribute the casualties. So Hayley has a stamina of 6, which means that she's 3 in excess. And because she has supports, those 3 go over to the supporting unit. So that unit behind have taken 3 casualties. Hayley is taking a break test of 2d6. How many casualties do you take again? 6. 6, I think, so you're 2d6 minus 2. Let's see what happens. So Hayley's 2d6 minus 2 for this test. You want as high as you can get. You are shaken, so you could see off the attack, but
we'll see.
We'll see.
Oh,
nice. Come on.
Very nice.
Okay, so a result of 8 for infantry is hold your ground without penalty. So even though these guys are shaken, they're fighting on. And I could have done without that. I was hoping just to kind of flood over you. But how cool is that? Does that look with all of these ghouls just trying to mob the Romans? So there we go. That is the end of Gaul turn 3. It is now Caesar turn 3. Okay, so that is a very successful Roman command phase. Oh, the only thing we haven't done is what's Caesar doing. He could join that combat if you want and try and see off and basically add his...
Yeah, go on.
Yeah? Is he going to get stuck in? I might have to put Fabrizics in then when it comes, but we'll decide. Right, Hayley, what did you do?
So these guys couldn't go anywhere because they're in combat, so they're just going to...
That's just going to rattle on, but Caesar is coming along to try and...
just going to carry on there. I've moved my
Scorpio.
I do. A little bit sideways, so I've got line of sight and
to the back here, yeah. So because it's I was just gonna say because it's light artillery, you can move it and fire once. So you can move once and fire, and then your favourite thing that happened.
They've just gone charging down the hill.
Yeah, Roma Victor.
For fun, really.
Why not? So
too much energy.
What I think is quite interesting over here is how this one unit is basically just pushing these guys back.
They're near the edge of the table.
I just remembered I've got a special rule on the Druid which lets him remove all casualties from people, and I've just remembered.
Of course you do, Mike.
I do. It's written in that book. It's written in that book. Right.
In like Sharpie.
Sharpie had some Tipp-Ex.
A Tipp-Ex line where one rule was and then a new rule written in.
There's no...
all casualties.
There's shooting to resolve. So it's your Scorpio. You're shooting against them. Are you over 12 inches?
I don't think so.
Nope. Okay, no. So you've got 2 dice hitting on 4s.
1.
All right, 1 hit. I need a single save of 5. Oh. Hey, he just caught it in his teeth. Okay, so it's combat. Which combat do you want to do first, Hayley? The big chunky one down here or the little one up there?
Little one first.
Okay, so Hayley charging downhill. So, man, you're going to be hitting on 2s, I think. So you've got 7 dice. You're charging, which gives you +1, and you're uphill with me, so you get +1 for that as well. So you've got 7 dice hitting on 2s. I get 9 dice on the clash. Now, these guys, thankfully, are no longer shaken. They are disordered, though, which is -1. Oh, no, they would have undisordered at the end of the last turn. So, yes, sorry. They troops disorder at the end of your next turn. They were disordered in my own turn, so we just become... Anyway, yeah, it's fine. So, they have 9 dice hitting on 4s.
Hitting on 2s?
So, yes, Hayley, you're hitting on 2s. It's all of them.
Yes.
Okay, 7. So 7. Okay, I have 9 dice hitting on 4s, re-rolling 1 for tough fire. Oh my god. So 1, 2, 3, 4, re-rolling 1, 5. Okay, Hayley, you need 7 saves of 4. No, sorry, 5 saves of 4. Okay, so 2 casualties. Hayley is still not shaken. Right, I need 7 saves for 6 again because of the bloody peelings. Right, okay, so 1, yes. Well, you haven't shattered me. So I should just say as well that this unit isn't actually supporting, because they did actually go, they're back like that. There is a gap between them. They ended up further back, if you're wondering why I'm not rolling extra dice. So I have taken 11 casualties. If Hayley had done 1 more, she'd have shattered my unit and I wouldn't even have to have rolled the break test. So I took 6 casualties. Hayley took 2 casualties. So I'm rolling 2d6 -4. 2d6 -4 in the break test. They're gone. They're just gone. There you go. They're gone. So they are absolutely obliterated. You can consolidate, but you can't sort of follow through and sweep into that other unit. They're going to be too far away. You're just going to stay put where you are.
No, actually, because you'll go next.
Yep, you're just going to stay there at the moment, because I think you're just out of charge range, so I'm going to have to... Right, now here comes the biggie.
It's quite big for a small...
That unit is ridiculous. They're just pushing... That one unit is seeing off that whole division. So over here, we've got the big combat. Right, so Hayley. Who won the last round of combat? It was... No, who won? No, it was me. I won. You rolled really high. You rolled a 10.
Okay, yeah.
So Hayley, you get 7 dice, but because Caesar is there, he puts that up to 9. So you have 9 dice hitting on 5s because you are disordered. Now, sorry, disordered, shaken. Well, you're shaken and disordered, but it's just -1. So you have 9 dice hitting on 5s. Now, this is where I become a little bit more problematic. Yes, you're right, actually. Yes, you do. You get 3 more dice, and they are just hitting on 4s. Now, because we're in the second round of combat, I have to use my sustained fighting value, which is 6. So, obviously, the Gaul's far better in that first round of combat. So, 6. But because I won the last round of combat, I've got +1. So, I'm hitting on 3s. And then I have 2 dice coming in hitting on 4s. So, Hayley, you have 9 dice hitting on 5s.
Oh, that's not good.
I can see 4. 4? Oh. I think that's very respectable.
Not bad.
And then you
4
have...
out of 9 ain't bad.
There you go. So, you have 4. And then you have 3 dice hitting on 4s, re-rolling 1.
Oh.
Oh. Back in the tray.
Then re-roll that
Re-roll 1, yep. Okay,
Nice.
So you still got 7 overall. Okay, so Hayley got 7 hits. My main unit gets 6 attacks coming back. Hitting on 3s.
Ooh.
Re-rolling 1.
4.
So that's 5. And then I have 2 attacks hitting on 4s, re-rolling 1. There we are. So 7.
As well. Even Stevens.
Yep, so 7 apiece, but this is now where things become a bit unstuck. And I should have asked again about whether or not you wanted to close ranks at the start of the combat. But considering you've done it, yeah, sorry about that. We'll bring that back. We'll explain that in the next one. So, Hayley, you have 7 saves of 3 to make.
5. No. Oh no, 3.
3. So you've taken 4 casualties. Now, it's not the first round of combat anymore, so I don't suffer that that silly modifier anymore. So I need 7 saves of 5. No, 4. Oh. So 3 saved, sorry, yeah, 3 saved, 4 dead.
Do you want casualties, yeah?
Yeah, this is going to take some working out, so bear with us a second, we'll be right back. Well, this is a bloodbath. So I did 4 casualties to Hayley. So we'll add that to that unit there. Now, because this unit's already at its maximum stamina, those 4 are going to get distributed onto that unit at the back.
7.
So they're on 7. Now, over here, I received 4 casualties as well from Hayley. So I'm now 2 in excess. So those 2 are going to get distributed to that unit. But as we did 4 apiece, that is a draw. However, units that are shaken needed to test. So because these units are shaken, they are going to be taking break tests. Hayley's unit at the back has also become shaken. So there's going to be a lot of break tests going on. So this could be the tipping point of the battle. So shall I do my test first?
Yep.
Okay. So it's just a straight 2d6. That is a 9. They're not going anywhere. And I've just realised something we've forgotten to do. And we need to do this. It could make the difference. We need to roll to see if Caesar became a casualty. So the way this works is I roll 2d6. I add Caesar's combat modifier. And if it's 12 or over, then something's happened to him. So 2d6. No, Caesar's fine. He just laughed. Okay, so your unit at the front, just 2d6 straight.
As high as I can.
As high as you can. 10. They are absolutely fine. This is just dragging on. And your supporting unit behind.
Same here.
Yep. Oh, 5. They're slightly more bedraggled. They are give ground disordered. So yeah,
going back.
give ground. They go back 6 inches disordered, and then we have a lot of shaken units. Okay, so there we are. How you feeling?
Feeling quite good. I'm confident.
Yeah. I think it's quite amusing.
There's a hedge between us.
There is. So that is the end of the Roman turn. It's time for the Gauls to try and do something. But I've got one unit that may do something over there. They're shaken. And they're gone. All right. Yeah, I've already lost 2 units down here. Let's see what Fabrizics can do. Hayley's sorting her masses of dice out there. So, not a lot really happened in the Gaul command phase other than these guys executed a successful charge up the hill for what it's worth. Now, I've got no shooting, so it's just going to be combat. And I think we'll start over here, as it seems to be tradition. So, I've got 9 attacks hitting on 3s. Rerolling 1 for tough fighters. You have 7 attacks hitting on 3s because you're uphill. Okay, so I'm looking for 3s, rerolling 1. Ooh, that's not so bad. Oh, there we go. That's 8 hits. 8 hits. Okay, Hayley, you got 7 hitting on 3s. That's all of them.
All of them.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Okay, because of the Peelam rule, I am going to get I'm saving on 6s. No, just 7 casualties. It's not looking good. Okay, Hayley, you needed 8 saves of 4. And again, I forgot to ask you about closing ranks, but I'm going to assume you didn't want to because you've just done all of that anyway.
What am I saving on?
You're saving on 4s.
Oh, 1 out the bowl. Oh, Christ.
No. Doubly bad. So you took 1, 2, 3. You took 6. Okay, so I took 7 casualties and Hayley took 6, which means I did lose the combat by 1. Hayley doesn't have any units in support to distribute those excess casualties to, so Hayley is just going to add 1 casualty gem on there and become shaken. On the other hand, I am going to be adding a lot of casualties and becoming shaken as well. But first of all, I've got to do my break test. 2d6 minus 1. So I'm 2d6 minus 1. 7. I give ground in good order. Okay, so I go back down the hill. Okay, so there we are. They've gone back down the hill. Now, normally we would probably be in a situation here where we'd have broken divisions, but as we were playing such a small game, as said at the start of the battle, we're not playing with broken divisions. So we are going to carry on and see how this ends up. So over here, let's do this big combat here. Now, I won that last round, so I'll be getting +1 to hit, but it's going to be a bit of a bloodbath. So I get 9 dice for my main unit. They would get +1. No, I don't get 9 dice. I get 6 dice, don't I? Because they're not as good in sustained. So I get 6 dice. There'd be +1 for winning the last round of combat, but then -1 because they're shaken. So they are hitting on 4s. Then I have 2 dice in support hitting on 4s, re-rolling. Both of them are re-rolling for Tough Fighter. Hayley, you get 7 dice +2 for Caesar, so you get 9 dice hitting on 5s. Okay, so 6 dice hitting on 4s, re-rolling 1. Oh god, they all missed.
Ooh.
Oh, they all missed. And then 2 dice hitting on 4s, re-rolling 1. Oh, thank god for that. 2 hits. So I've got 2 hits. Hayley, you have 9 dice hitting on 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I need 4 saves of 5. So 2 casualties. You need 2 saves of 3. You're fine. So you've won the combat.
Woo!
Okay, so this one's actually surprisingly easy to work out. First of all, though, we need to see if Caesar was a casualty. So I'm rolling 2d6 and adding Caesar's command rating. 9, 10, 11. No, if it was over 12, then he would potentially be the casualty, but it wasn't.
He's laughing again.
I say command rating, I meant combat modifier. So I lost the combat by 2, so I'm rolling a break test, 2d6 -2. Okay, so here we are, 2d6 -2. You're right there.
Getting in. Yay!
Oh dear, so that is 4. Which for infantry is break if shaken, which means also my supports are going to be taking a break test, so they are completely gone. Okay, so I need to take a break test for these supports because they've just seen all their mates run off and they were helping them in the combat. So this is just a straight up test. 7. That is give ground in good order. Okay, so, yep, there we go. That is the end of the Gaul turn. So, for Breezix, his men have fallen back. Elwix's men have fallen back. As I say, if we're playing with broken, is hanging in there. So, as it's Caesar, let's see what he's going to do. Okay, so a relatively
tame turn.
Yep, what did you do?
I rallied these guys.
Okay, so Caesar joined them and just simply said, get your shit together. They're going to move forward. And over here, I forgot about that.
Yeah, moved my little scorpion across and close it, and is now within 6 inches. Of
it's going to do some shooting.
and these guys couldn't do anything.
Yeah, that's it. So you're sort of shaking all over. So basically what you kind of want me to do is not be able to charge you next turn, and then just start bringing all your cohorts forward, I suppose. So it's a Scorpio to shoot. You're going to get 2 dice. You're going to be hitting on 4s. Yep, hitting on 4s. And it's an automatic break test anyway, so even if I save these. So 2d6, saving on 5s. No, that's 2 casualties. I'm already shaken. Let's have a look. So I've just taken 2 casualties in excess, so I'm going to be rolling 2d6 -2 for this test. Here we go. 5 from shooting is hold your ground disordered or retreat in good order. I'm going to hold my ground disordered. No, but it does mean that I can't do anything in my next turn, really, which is a bit of a pain. That's the end of your turn, isn't it? So it's into Gaul turn 5. Okay, so why are you smiling so much?
You tell him, Martin.
Well, there's a bit of a gap here. So basically, over here, couldn't do anything because they're disordered. If you remember, they were disordered by the Scorpio, so they can't receive any orders. They can't. Rallying is still an order. The Druid special order that lets them get rid of all of their casualties but one, that's still an order. So they couldn't do anything at all. Over here, I tried to charge the Romans behind the hedge, and I completely failed. I got a blunder. I then re-rolled, blundered again, and then rolled and got uncontrollable flight. So they have now legged it down the board, and it didn't really seem very sensible to leave Fabrizic there on his own, so he's gone with them. So that is actually the entirety of my turn 5. There we are. Basically, these Gauls are retreating, those Gauls don't know what they're doing, and these Romans are just...
We're all together.
Everyone's happy. So, let's just have a look at Roman turn 5. Okay, Hayley, so what happened? Should we just look at this dice result in the train? It's a double 1.
You said roll as low as possible.
And then what happened?
I rolled as low as possible.
So, these guys here have, for 1 order, cleared the obstacle, 2 moves straight down the road. Caesar's just following them.
He's trotting along.
Doesn't care about these guys at the back or those guys over there. He's got a war to get on with. So there's no hand-to-hand combat because up here these guys are still shaken. But you do have the Scorpio, which can still shoot.
Give a little shoot now.
Okay, so 2d6 hitting on 4s. Okay, hitting on 4s.
Oh,
2. Yes. So no automatic break tests, but I need 2 saves of 5. 1 save, 1 casualty. But because I'm now 1 over. In excess, that's going to be 2d6 minus 1 on a break test.
6.
Why can't I do maths? Yeah. That is hold your ground disordered. So I'll just hold my ground disordered again.
Hey.
These poor guys, they're just getting absolutely peppered.
Coming together.
That's it. So it's now Gaul turn 6. I think we're going to play it, aren't we? Because we're going to see what happens to these. Because I basically need to execute an order to turn all the way around.
Twice.
And then try and charge. So let's see what happens. Okay, so things didn't go according to plan. So let's just keep this brief. They can't do anything because they're disordered. It was brief. I failed their command roll to turn around, essentially, and charge. So I used his general's reroll, and I failed completely again. So they are done. I think it's pretty much a certain thing that the Romans have taken a day here, but I believe, Hayley, you want to play out your final...
Absolutely.
You want to play out your final turn.
Absolutely.
So let's just see how this is going to go. Okay, so there's nothing going on here apart from all of this.
Charging.
So, as you would have expected, that cohort and Caesar have charged into that warband as they were sort of fleeing down the road. Fabrizic, I've just chucked in there to just try and help things. We'll see what happens. But Hayley wants to, well, what do you want to do? Your Scorpio's been...
Just for fun, really.
Just for fun. You just really want to, you know, twist the knife. Okay, it's 2d6 hit on 4s. Go for it. 1 hit. I need a single save of 5. No! So that's another break test. Is this going to be the one that finally sees them gone?
Yes.
4. Let's have a look. Infantry. It is retreat disordered. That would be away from them. So they're going to come back over here. So I don't think they're going to go off the board. But they're certainly going to be teetering. Yes. Should we do the hand-to-hand combat?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's work out the dice.
You haven't moved them.
You want me to just get them right near the edge?
Absolutely.
Let's work out the dice. So, you get 7 for the Romans, plus 2 for Caesar. So you get 9 dice. I normally get 9 dice on the clash, but because I'm fighting to the rear or the flank, I only get half. And then you round up in Hail Caesar, so that is going to be 5 dice. And I got Fabrizics, which gives me 7. So Hayley, you charge. You've got 9 dice hitting on frees with no rerolls. I have 7 dice hitting on 4s, and then I suffer the penalties because of your pelums. Okay, Hayley, you're hitting on frees. All but 1. This might be it. I need 7 hitting on 4s. Rerolling 1. So I got 2, 4, 5. So Hayley, you need 5 saves of 4.
Ooh.
2, so 3 casualties. Right, I need 8 saves of 6 because, of course, I get -1 in the first round of combat. No. Okay, that's none. So that's 8 casualties. Right, now let's see if Fabrizics is going to be a casualty. Hayley, roll 2d6 and add 2. No, Fabrizics doesn't fall casualty. You've done 8 casualties on me, which means that you won the combat by 5. So before we do anything, it's just 2d6 minus 5. 2d6 minus 5. That's 2. They're gone. They are well and truly gone. They are broken. They leave the battlefield. Right. What we're going to do is just clean up, and then we'll just come back to you for a quick post-game chat, which will generally be the Romans 1, but there's a couple of points to touch on. Okay, so there we are. That was an intro game to Hail Caesar and to the Gallic Wars. Obviously, I've been painting these up now for a couple of months, and it was nice to just get them all on the table, even if it was just a small game. However, what I wanted to do with this battle report is actually show you how the contents of this set, which is what the majority of this is, can be used to play an entertaining and fun, in my opinion, game. The only additions to this set were the commanders, so Caesar, Fabrizics, and I've forgotten his name, Airwix, the Scorpio, and the skirmishers. So those were just some small additions, but you could easily play a game not having the commanders on the field and just rolling command checks or just moving a token around. Everything else is all about those units. But I guess the big thing is, Hayley, how did you find it? Because you've not played Hail Caesar before. Yeah. You have played Black Powder though.
Yeah, I found it really good, easy to follow. I think in some ways I preferred it because it was quicker. I like games where you're not waiting around too long. I quite like the smaller game.
You like hand-to-hand combat.
So it's the hand-to-hand combat because that's my favourite thing to do. Did miss the cavalry though.
They're getting painted. I promise they're getting painted.
But my favourite is hand-to-hand combat.
You always said that in Black Powder though. Yeah. You always preferred getting the bayonet stuck in. You like getting those cavalry charges.
I think a lot more goes on when you're hand-to-hand, and it's a lot riskier when you're up close rather than and again it makes the game move along quicker. Yeah.
Well, I think because Hayley had the choice of Romans or Gauls, and it's
got to be Romans every time.
It's going to be Romans, and so I would just like to say though, Titus Pullo and Lucius Varenus not a good showing today.
No, they are old. They're the veterans.
They are.
They gave everything they could, but they needed. They showed up.
This was a lot of fun to play. There will be more Gallic Wars games, and I've got some plans of how I'm expanding these forces. As we just said, I've got some cavalry to add to the Romans. I've got some war dogs and skirmishers for the Gauls, and some Gallic cavalry as well. So these will be getting bigger, but what I quite like is that the size of these games, you can scale them up. And if you've watched the Hail Caesar battle reports before, you'll know that I like to basically start playing as soon as I can. So I think that this, you can get a decent amount of gaming out of that set and then really, just take it from there. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Welcome back to Hayley for a battle report. And I will see you guys all again soon in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Bye.